Hey Samuel, what's up, man? Brian Foote here. So I wanted to show you something that I've learned about vintage Bob Reeves mouthpieces. So this is a 2 rim. In the 80s and 70s, when Bob Reeves was making mouthpieces, he didn't call them a 40, a 41, a 42, a 43. He didn't call them that. I think he just called them the 0, the 1, the 2, and the 3. So this rim size is like a 42 rim, but look at how like wide and cushioned it is. So this is my modern 42 rim. You see it's a little narrower in shape and more rounded. The older one was a little more cushioned and slightly flatter, still round, but it has more cushion to it. The old 2 rim. See, it just says 2 there. Whereas this one says 42. So this underpart is actually a mouthpiece that I just got, and I'm not a big fan of this underpart. It's the 2S. So this is like his first or his earlier version of the 42S, 692. And then he put the shank number 4. Nowadays he doesn't, if it's a 4 shank, he doesn't mark it. So this underpart is a vintage Bob Reeves from probably, I'm guessing, the 70s or the 80s. And I don't really like the underpart because someone drilled it out to a 27 and they didn't do a perfect job. You can see it's scratched in there. So I'm gonna get rid of this underpart, maybe give it away, because it's really not great. But I'm gonna keep this 42 rim, and I'm definitely gonna keep this number 2 rim. So this rim was actually what came with this old Bob Reeves mouthpiece. And I like it even more than the modern 42 rim because it's got it's a little bit thicker in contour and a little bit softer and a little bit wider. It's also just a little bit taller in profile, so it has a little bit more relief. And I find that on this modern Zinger backbore, this old school number 2 rim works really great. This is actually my classical mouthpiece. I just got done playing this on the brass quintet gig. It's got a 29 throat, unmarked, but it's not a 28, it's a 29. And it's like medium shallow Zinger. So this is actually what Doc used to play like Malagueña and that crazy early 70s stuff he was doing, and all the Tonight Show stuff. That was on a Bob Reeves Zinger with a 42 rim. So this is a weird rim, man. Like, they're really hard to find. Also, there's a little more mass to this. If you compare them, you like line them up. I'm doing this by hand, hold on. Ship's rocking, sorry. You see the old rim has a little more mass to it. There's a little more girth, a little more metal there. So it's just slightly heavier, probably just several grams heavier. But I like the old 2 rim more than the modern, and I love the 42 rim. Don't get me wrong, but the modern 2 rim is like 2% better, and for me that makes a big difference. So yeah. So that is these are my setup for like middle of the road playing. And then when I want to play lower stuff, or like when I'm in a jazz combo setting, I like this custom Shilky. This is a 13B 3B. So it's like a medium shallow, kind of conical, slightly V. You could call it an M cup. It's kind of an M cup shape. And it's 660, exactly 660. So I really like this. This one has a 28 throat. And the B backbore is narrow, but not quite as narrow as the A. You can see it flares out, it has a little flare at the very end. So it's medium narrow, a medium small throat, medium cup. So this is really good for a small group. Easy to play high and low on. And then the darkest this is my commercial set. So these are the mouthpieces that I play most of the time on cruise ships. This is my darker commercial mouthpiece, is this old Proviance. It's a true Proviance, Los Angeles. And this is the 5-star 3, the 5-star 3. So this has a 28 throat, I call this a super soft bowl. It's a bowl, but it's really, really rounded on the inside. Also, I think someone modified this rim and just made it, it almost feels like a wide Maynard rim, because look at how soft that curve is. The curve is so smooth and the bowl is so gradual. So it's medium depth, but the sides are so sloped and sculpted. It's just amazing. It's got that stock Proviance backbore. Kind of a thick terminus too. So I'm trying this piece out. I'm not really sure what I'll use it for, because it's like, it's not shallow, but it feels shallower than it is because of the rim contour. The rim is just so soft on this, like super, super soft. And it's not quite 42 or like 660. It's not quite 670. It's somewhere in between, and the rim contour is so soft. It feels somewhat bigger than it actually is because it's just so incredibly smooth. This mouthpiece has been played a lot and it's been used a lot, and maybe it was just gradually worn down, or maybe the person who owned it first took some super fine sandpaper and just kind of went at the inner edge to make it soft. But this thing is luxurious. It feels like playing on a pillow, a soft pillow. The other end of the spectrum, this is the mouthpiece that I played double and triple high notes on. No one knows who made it. It's kind of tarnished right now, but I kind of like it like that. It's my shallow double cup. It's about the same depth. The first cup is about as deep as a Bobby Shoe Lēde, but it's a little bit wider than that. And the rim is super rounded and very soft. Almost as soft as my Proviance mouthpiece, just slightly less soft than that. So it's still nice and comfy. It's got a 34 throat and a tight backbore. You can hear it. The overblow whistle happens real early. I can push my other mouthpieces way further, like this Proviance. I have to blow much harder to get the Proviance to whistle versus my shallow double cup. It's like not even close. Really love this mouthpiece. Never ever gonna get rid of it. I can play triple C's on this. I can play triple G's, triple D's. In fact, I just posted a video where I played a high A with a shake, and then I went up to double A, and then went up to triple A, and then I slurred from triple A to triple D, and it was perfectly in tune. So that's what this mouthpiece allows me to do. It gives me a ton of endurance, and I basically just have to constantly back off. Just constantly, less air, better technique, perfect aperture control. And this mouthpiece rewards perfect technique with tons of endurance and a really bright sound. Really easy to play, bright sound, lots of sizzle. The one thing that I actually can't do great is I can't absolutely like bark. Like I can play quite loud, but I can't like, the overblow point on this mouthpiece is such a low amount of air that it kind of has a volume threshold. That makes it really good when you're playing on a microphone. If you're playing on like a hot mic with an amplified band, this mouthpiece is a dream because you don't have to absolutely throw the air to get a sizzle, and it paints on a mic really well. But acoustically in like a big room, it's not super loud. It's loud. I can play plenty loud. I can play loud enough, but not as loud as like on these Reeves. I can really throw some volume behind the Reeves because they have a 28 throat. But there's my pit orchestra mouthpiece.